Hello and welcome to Queendom TV, and today I'm going to be talking about none other than Pervy Prince Andy, because as you guys all know, at the moment the Ghislaine Maxwell trial is out and is running, and a lot of people are scared and running because they don't want to get caught out for what they've been doing, and she has the power to potentially expose a lot of things that previously we have not known because Jeffrey Epstein is dead, which I did a whole video talking about how I don't believe Jeffrey Epstein is dead whatsoever. So check that video out if you're interested. In this video, I'm going to discuss a very interesting fact that's come out about Pervy Prince Andy, because we've been talking about him and we've been talking about how he's trying to avoid justice. For those of you who don't know, in early January next year, literally next month now, which is crazy, right? He is expected to be in court in the United States of America to speak on this whole thing going on with Virginia Roberts and to testify to what's going on. Now, the thing that I mentioned in one of my previous videos about this is if he does not show up, they will seize both his and the Queen's assets in the United States. So this is pretty big deal. The thing I want to talk about in this video is what I mentioned in my video about the Pope. So check that out if you want to hear more detail, is the fact that he is a member of the Black Eye Club. Now, this club is of people who've been seen to have a black eye, particularly usually in their left eye. And the time I'm specifically referring to Prince Andrew in this is from 2017. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because, as I've spoken about in my video about the Pope, there's this drug that I mentioned, and it's a drug that they use as an anti-age, that the Hollywood elites and the world elites use as an anti-aging agent, and it's called adrenochrome, and they harvest it from children. Yes, they harvest it from the blood of children. It's very sad and it's very disgusting and demonic. I've done some videos talking about it, so check those out. Excuse me, if you would like to hear more about that. And Prince Andrew, back in June of 2017, was found to have this black eye. And when the palace were questioned as to why he had this black eye, they said they wanted to have what? No comment. Now, obviously, I think it's a good thing that, you know, in this day and age, we've enabled that people don't always have to comment in the justice system, because sometimes you're in a situation that's difficult for you. Maybe you don't want to talk about, you don't want to snitch on somebody else. Maybe you feel the odds are against you at this stage and you would rather let the situation ride itself out, or maybe you just want to stick with the rights that you've been given by laws. And either way, I think that's fair. However, I do also think it's fair to speculate why people make these decisions sometimes, because in this case with Pervy Prince Andy and what he's been doing and what he's involved in now, I think this is one of those situations where I feel very comfortable to question exactly why he made that decision and why they said there was no comment. Because for the palace to say no comment is pretty odd, isn't it? Because if you think about it, if it was just something normal in life, like he bumped his head or, you know, a crazy fan punched him, I mean, they could have made up a story and said, oh, there was a crazy person, you know, outside Buckingham Palace who decided to punch him during a meet up with, you know, the public or something. That would have been very viable and people would have received that and understood that, and they could have said that with absolutely no proof. And to be honest, the majority of the British public, at least, and probably the world, would have believed it, because it's possible, because people a lot of the time do have issues with people in power. However, that's not what they chose to do. However, what we did see is that they chose to say that they were not going to comment. And this is why, one of the main reasons I'm talking about it, because a lot of the things that go on are hidden, guys. And I talk about the fact that a lot of this stuff is hidden, which is why it's actually really hard for me to make videos on this channel and prove things as much as maybe other commentary channels on my channel, because I'm trying to get to the nitty-gritties of things that people don't want us to get to the nitty-gritties of. And so in a lot of ways, sometimes I feel like I'm clutching at straws. I'm not clutching at straws, because I'm clutching at real factual information, because they did decline to comment. The palace did anyway, and we know how we feel about the palace. If you don't know how we feel about them, definitely check out my videos about the royal family and Pervy Prince Andy in general. But we know that these are the types of things they try to swerve. And all I'm saying is, okay, why is there no information about this? Why didn't they want to admit to this? Especially when this is something that has been seen consistently, and there's numbers of celebrities who out there who've been in this, especially around this time of 2017, 2018. I don't know what was going on then, but let's just think about the fact that that was just before, you know, obviously then we had 2019, 2020 and 2021. So God knows what these people were doing behind closed doors, to enable themselves to be in this position now, because a lot of the things that happen in the world, people, like, as much as we might be shocked, because we as people naturally detach ourselves from the world and think about our world as the people we know, These people in power, they know about the world and they know what they're trying to do, and they're playing the long game. They're really playing the long game. Perfect example of this is the fact that, you know, I mentioned in some of my previous videos, which are talking about the media, how you know, only 40 years ago, there were 50 different media companies in the United States, and now there's only 5. And now there's only 5 main companies that control 90% of the market, you know, and that's all the way from production all the way through to distribution. And so the control that's in the world is definitely there, and these people are definitely playing the long game. So it would not surprise me that something was going on back in 2018, 2017, where they had done some kind of satanic rituals, because I also talked about on my channel how, you know, the currency of the spiritual world is blood. You know, that's why people stand on Jesus's blood. For those of us who are Christian like myself, we receive Jesus's blood as a sacrifice so that we could have, you know, a relationship with God again. And that's why we don't sacrifice people anymore. There's no need to sacrifice anything. All we have to do is receive Jesus. It's a very simple and easy deal, which is awesome. But the people in the demonic side of things, they still have to do this. And this is why people are sacrificing animals, which, for me, whichever way you look at it, is already like, why are you sacrificing animals to gods? Is scary. But this happens, and it's very common in the world. You might think it's uncommon in the Western world, and in the Western world it's very easy to think that like the things that go on here like are normal. If you go to other places in the world, other countries, you'll find it's actually very normal to do a lot of these demonic practices and rituals. But these people, these Hollywood people, these Pervy Prince Andys and these world elites are taking it a step further and using children. And I think this is something we need to talk about, because whether you want to believe what I'm saying or not, I think it's extremely obvious that children have been a target of a lot of negative things in the world. There's a reason why children and people are getting depressed sooner and stronger from younger. There's a reason why you know, the likes of people like Shane Dawson on YouTube and James Charles and PewDiePie and all these people have a predominantly child, David Dobrik have a predominantly child audience. There's a reason why they're attacking the children, and I really believe it's because the enemy knows that when you get somebody as a child, you've got that person for life. And I think a lot of people who are adults now, whether they want to acknowledge it or not, and this is one of the hardest things about being adults now, I think, is that people are going through things that they don't want to address, that because they started it in childhood and they wanted to bury them, but they're still affecting them. And that's exactly the plan of the enemy. The plan of the enemy is to derail our lives so that we just don't even live the life we were ever supposed to live, or the life that God destined for us, that we would love and we would enjoy with him, you know, because he wants us to just live a miserable life and then die and be with him, because he's sad, because he's got a miserable fate, because he decided he wanted to cut out from heaven and do all the craziness he did. You know, so I just wanted to mention that in this video, because it just goes to add more and more of these little clues. And I think a lot of the stuff we're doing is we're kind of building our own cases in a way about what's going on out there in Hollywood and what these people are doing. And it's very scary the more that we look into it. And it's not something to be scared of, as I said, because there's redemption and there is Jesus, and thank God for God, you know, at the end of the day. But let's not pretend, and let's not be blind to what's going on, and let's not address and ask questions. All I'm saying is let's ask questions. That's all I'm really saying. Let's ask questions, and let's just not assume that what people say is true, because a lot of people say things they don't mean, and a lot of people are hiding because they can get away with it. And yes, maybe Andrew was able to hide in this country and they've dropped all his charges in the UK. But it seems like America's not letting go. I salute America and I'm grateful to America. See y'all soon for doing that. Other than that, you know, a lot of this stuff, unfortunately, is really hard for us to prove and to know, which is unfortunate. But this is just where we are, and this is just the truth, and all I can do is speak on it. So you guys let me know what you think as well in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys, how you guys feel. Also, if you guys ever do want to talk about anything on a personal level, feel free to reach out to my Instagram, which is also listed in my description box. And I'm happy to talk to you guys on a one-to-one level. I have actually spoken to a subscriber on Instagram before. And so please reach out to me as well. I don't want any of you to be feeling anxious or worried about anything that's going on, but I'm sharing this information so that we can be informed and therefore make informed decisions. So thank you for checking out this video. Check out my other videos as well on this channel. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you're feeling the vibe and you want to join the tribe. And like, of course. Other than that, God bless you all, and I'll see you in my next one.